after they have been value added more expensively. So we are the original owners of the products, but then we only enjoy a product that has been added value more expensively. And that will make the continent remain very poor. Mr. Speaker, we have a model law that has come on agriculture, which I hope, again, we'll be able to adopt and cause our own laws to be changed as a House. We are happy because Esther Passaris, who is a member of the Pan-African Parliament, is a member of the Agriculture and Rural Development Committee, and she is going to table the model law and transmit it to this House. And once it comes to this House, we will use it to amend, because we know agriculture is dominantly devolved, and this is the House that should make decisions. So there are many other laws that are coming. We are coming up with laws that to do with trade. Mr. Speaker, I sit in the Trade Committee, and we are working on the issue of the free trade area currently, and we are really pushing hard to make sure that this continent becomes open. We know that there is, within the agreement of the African Free Trade Area Agreement, it is clear that when we have about 8 members having ratified, they are allowed to proceed. And we are going to urge the East African community to proceed with that. We know that currently we have the customs union between the East African countries. And again, even as we are working on that, one of the objectives of the African Union is to make sure that the regional economic blocks like the East African community can integrate further and be the role models when it comes to integration. And this is what we are going to push for ourselves as the East African region, using the model that has been successful in allowing trade between the states of the East African community, so that we can spread out, because the East African region under the African Union has more countries, in fact, than what the East African community has. We have Ethiopia, we have Djibouti, we have the islands, Madagascar and Seychelles, and we need to expand that integration and to allow free movement. Mr. Speaker, we are proud as Kenya that the head of state made a pronouncement that people, the Africans, anybody from the continent of Africa can get into Kenya without a visa. That if you, for any country that still has to do anything, you do your processing even at the airport. This is what we are looking for under the African Union, and this is what the Pan-African Parliament is pushing for. We are pushing for free movement of persons, we are pushing for free movement of goods, so that we can trade between ourselves better, and we open the airspace, because unless we open the airspace, Mr. Speaker, it becomes extremely expensive for an African to move within the continent. One of the things that we are looking at right now to enable the free trade is looking at the infrastructure. The infrastructure requires that we have railway lines connecting, railway connectivity between countries in the continent. We want to have road networks between the country. We are very, very happy that with the candidature as a delegate of the Right Honorable Amolo Odinga. The main reason is that he was in charge of the African infrastructure before. So the priorities that he had put in place are the priorities that are now at the committee stage, when we are telling ourselves we need to have road networks, we need to have rail networks, so that we can have a railway line that starts from Cape Town all the way to Cairo. Then we have rails from Nairobi all the way to the west, to Senegal. These are some of the things that were emphasized when our own candidate, Raila Amolo Odinga, was in charge of infrastructure. It is our prayer as a House that he will win that position, so that he moves he moves this ahead. Mr. Speaker, may I finally say we are very grateful as a delegation that we have been given the opportunity to take up this great responsibility, and we believe that with the leadership of the Honorable Mungatana, we will even participate more and we will give more reports in this House so that the House can be moving with us. With those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Thank you, Senator Esther.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First, I wish to support this report by the members of the Pan-African Parliament who represented us in South Africa, led by the Ebo Center, especially anytime he represents this House in international fora. He quickly comes back and shares lessons learned with the members of this House. And I know that some of us who are following in those footsteps are actually going to reap big and also share with the rest of the Kenyans who are watching some of these discussions. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to just note a key area of interest. This is on trade. As a member of the Trade Committee of the Senate earlier this year, we were fortunate enough to have an address by the Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, that is Wamkele Mene. And he took us through what their agenda is and how they want to synergize with African countries. And I want to note that there is already political goodwill from Kenya as a country, led by the president, who actually has been on the front line, pushing for Africa being very open to trade and encouraging the rest of the Kenyans who are in those other countries to participate. It's a very good opportunity for Kenyans to also take this chance and do trade in South Africa, and also for South Africans to also cross borders and come and trade with Kenyans. That's the whole essence of a borderless Africa, especially when it comes to trade. Mr. Speaker, sir, also, the Pan-African Parliament, whatever issues that are being discussed in that parliament are very key, especially to Africans, because that sent from different countries in Africa, and we tend to think whatever proposal that originate from brains in the Pan-African Parliament should address most of the challenges we as a continent and as a country are facing. So we need to have more of these proposals and solutions that are being offered by the Pan-African Parliament be implemented in the member states so that we can make progress. Let it not be after every mission we still have the same agenda we are revisiting. We need to make progress so that there is value for investing in our African states. Mr. Speaker, sir, also, Africa is a very key, it's a very key continent, and that's why you see even other countries in the rest of the world wanting to follow closely what we as a continent are engaging in. Look at even the African Union elections that we are actually pitching up for with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. It's very instrumental, and that's why citizens need to realize that it's not just an interest of a country, but they are equally affected in what goes on around the continent, because challenges Africans in Kenya are experiencing are the same challenges Africans in Ghana are experiencing, the same challenges Africans in Botswana are experiencing, and solutions are somehow similar. So I urge my colleague members of parliament to support this report and walk the talk from some of these proposals, so that we even give the members who normally go representing us in the Pan-African Parliament reason to agitate strongly for some of the proposals we are giving. So
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and let me just conclude by saying that this is also a very good opportunity, not just for senior citizens who are very much abled economically, but for young people, because young people are very quick, especially in this digital era, to connect across the continent and can therefore boost their networking skills, especially in business, not just selling in Kenya, but selling across the continent. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Beatrice Ogola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. From the onset, Honorable Speaker, I want to applaud the very senior delegation and led by Senator Danson Mungatana, the leader of the delegation. Honorable Speaker, the delegation is composed of very, very senior legislatures. And we are happy also to benefit from their wisdom, from their institutional memory of the legislative arm of our government. Senator Mungatana has a rich history, both from his profession and from his work in Parliament, as demonstrated even by his contributions and by his debates right at the Senate. Senator Professor Margaret Kamar is a seasoned legislator, and we remain very proud of the delegation that has really made this report. Honorable Speaker, as I support this report, I also look forward to an African that will be very proud of, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like an African that will be working towards the preservation, conservation of our resources, the vast resources that we have in this region. There is no African country, Honorable Speaker, that is not blessed with great resources. And so, in this report, I want to be I'm very happy even about the composition of the PAP committees as presented in this report. If you look at number clause 13, you see the committees there: the Committee on Rural Economy, Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Environment. Honorable Speaker, other than the conservation of our resources, I look forward to an Africa that will have an harmonized air travel, Honorable Speaker. We have often heard at public forums where the Right Honorable former Prime Minister, the Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, talk about the challenges we have in the air travel in Africa, about the various barriers that are there, and about the source. And it is so then, Honorable Speaker, that I support this report as I look at some of these challenges. Honorable Speaker, I also look forward to a more harmonized currency across Africa. Honorable Speaker, we know, and as was echoed by my senior Senator Kamar, that Africa was one, and we were countries that were created from the same block. I look forward, Honorable Speaker, to a day when I could travel from Kenya and go north and go south and go west, but only use one currency. And it is based on that I support the report, because we are looking forward to eminent solutions that will come from this engagement. Honorable Speaker, in the report there's reference to a number of objectives of the Pan-African Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I'm keen on good governance around the continent. I'm keen on an Africa that will be peaceful, that will be secure, an African where issues of human rights
take precedence. I'm looking forward to an Africa that will have an enhanced infrastructure other than the air travel. Honorable Speaker, we can have an enhanced road network, we can have an enhanced water transport, and that can only come forward with the objectives that has been set by the Pan-African Parliament. Honorable Speaker, I look forward to an Africa that will address collectively the challenges we are facing on climate change. Honorable Speaker, just last year, some of us attended COP28, and we are looking forward to engagement, a world engagement on COP29. But Honorable Speaker, as I see and support this report, I'm looking forward to an Africa that will have one stand, that will collectively engage, that will collectively push for the agenda of climate change and all the challenges that Africa goes through. Honorable Speaker, I cannot forget to say, contribute more.